All right, hey everybody, Billy Rainford back here with another Zoom video interview. Today we're going to go across the border into Quebec and talk to a multi-time champion. Obviously, we all know who this I'm talking about already, I'm sure. I've got Eve Brodeur. Eve, thanks for talking with us today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to do this.
All right, cool. Hey, let me mention also, this seems appropriate. Today's interview is brought to you by KTM Canada, somebody you're very familiar with, of course, so it sort of makes sense. Well, first of all, let's ask the first question. Where are you right now?
I'm currently at Brian Cormier's house, so I'm there with him and his parents for the week. I guess I needed a break from my parents, and I saw them last week, and they were like, "Why don't you come with us for the week?" And I was like, "You know what? Why not?" So I decided to just pack my things and come here for the week and just train with them as sort of boot camp situation to get like back into shape. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, now I was going to do this later, but since you just said that, I got a question from someone, and they were asking the situation between you and Brian with a Y. Is there a love interest there? What's going on?
Who asked that? But no, definitely not.
Somebody you may know that goes by the number 720, maybe number 41.
Of course you did. No, definitely not. We are good friends. I'm mostly here for Melanie, but don't tell Brian.
Melanie Harvey, another WMX racer out there who we've all gotten to know over the years for sure. Is she going to come on and say hello?
I don't think so. I think she's a little camera shy and she's washing her bike, so who knows, but
I have a hard time believing that.
Well, it happens sometimes. She's not always, like this, so I guess, yeah.
Okay, well let's play a little This Is Your Life, Eve Brodeur. So sorry, Jeremy. I know you're trying to cause trouble, but we got the answer to that. But anyway,
of
Jeremy
course
was nice.
Jeremy. He's been annoying about that, so it doesn't surprise me.
Sounds a little bit like there's another story there, of course, with Jeremy, so maybe he's just jealous.
Yeah, maybe he's just jealous, Well, I guess we'll never know.
Well, no, there's no way we could ever know. Oh, we could ask you.
No.
I'm kidding. Okay. All right. Well, hey, let's, like I say, we're going to play a little This Is Your Life, Eve Brodeur. How many championships do you have?
I have 4 Canadian National Championship as well as 3 Walton Championships. So I guess that would add up to 7 National Championships.
Cool. Hey, when you're going over your career, you can add up everything you can just to get the highest number. So that's the way you'll even add more.
Well, I remember that a few years ago, or like last year, we wanted to compare because I think the one with the most is Heidi Cook. So we wanted to compare, and we realized that she counted Walton Nationals as her championship. So we started doing the same, I guess, to make it easier to compare.
Okay. Hey, I had this question for later on to ask, but now since you mentioned Heidi Cook, you in your prime versus Heidi Cook in her prime, who wins that race?
I don't know. Honestly, I was kind of really young when she was in her prime, so I don't remember a lot of it. I remember looking up to her and everything, but I don't remember a lot of it. So I guess it's different to compare. But from what we've counted, she still has more championship than me, so I still have a little bit to go. But yeah, I think it's definitely like a path to look forward to for the little girls. Heidi did it, and now it's me, and I hope someone can. Well, I know someone will take my place one day and do the same that we both did.
All right, and then you have to go open up a bakery.
Yeah, I know. I'm not a very good cook. Neither am I a very good baker. So I think we'll just skip that part.
Okay, well, I got other questions, obviously, to ask you about future stuff and everything. But let's take it way back to the beginning. Where did you grow up?
So funny story. My parents bought this house 26 years ago. The house that I live in, and I'm 20, so you make the math. I was born there, raised there in Laval, Quebec. So I've lived at the same address all my life. We've never moved. We've never been anywhere else. So that's where I grew up. So mostly riding X-Town and that sort of place. X-Town and SRA is where I was mostly at. But yeah, I've been in the same place in Laval my whole life.
Okay, well, you can make fun of living in the same place, but then when you think about it, you're a motocross racer, so you've been everywhere anyway. You're never there.
Yeah.
So it's, it doesn't matter where home is.
Yeah, I just always come back to the same place, I guess. But
Okay. Well, let's ask the usual couple questions. Or how did you get started in motocross in the first place?
so, well, basically, my dad used to be a race car driver, and then a few years into it, he switched to dirt bikes, and he was 26, I think, when he started racing dirt bikes, and from then on, he never stopped. So I was born with a PW waiting for me in the garage, and my mom was pregnant and sleeping in a tent at the races, and I was just a few weeks old, or a few days old even, and we'd go and sleep in a little RV tent, and so I just grew up at the track. I started riding myself as I was 4, and then I started racing when I was 5, and I have never stopped since then.
It's funny. It's again a very, very common story everybody has. But
Yeah.
now, how about, I think I know the answer to this because I've seen you with your early numbers. How did you pick your first race number?
So I just copied my dad basically. So my dad had the number 41, and he actually had a pretty funny story about it. So he had number 26, and then one day he decided because he kept making his numbers in tape, and he realized that 26 was too hard to make in tape because it's like all curves, right? So he was like, what is the straightest number I can find? So he found 41, and that number just stuck around, I guess. So I picked up 41, and that's the number I had until I started racing nationals. And when I started doing guys stuff and at the national, you have to have a number over 100. And I guess now for me, 141 is my number, and then 41 is my dad's number. So yeah.
Okay. All right. How far up? How good did your dad get? We're talking about Eve Brodeur here.
I was faster than him at 12, so
That's what I was going to ask you. What age did you pass?
12.
You got better than him.
12 or 13, but that's when he stopped racing. When I started getting faster, he stopped racing. So around that time.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Do you you said you've been riding since you're 4 years old. What was your first race? Do you remember your first race?
No, I don't. Oh my God, I have no idea. I remember a story that my parents used to tell me, that they brought me on this little road, gravel road a few years, when I was really young, when I started riding, and there was a big high boulevard at the end of it, I guess. And my dad was like, "Oh, give gas," and I gave gas and never stopped, and they had to run after me because I was going right on the boulevard and stuff. So they got really worried, and they thought I was gonna die, but you know what, we're okay. So yeah.
Okay, well, oh, sorry, just having having some salad here. When you not that you're old, you say you're 20 years old, so obviously you're clearly not old. But when you were young and racing and stuff like that, were you always racing the ladies class, or did you come up racing the boys classes and then switch over, or do both? How'd that go?
Well, in Quebec, until you're on an 85, there's not a girls class that you can race, and even in 85s you have to race the woman class. We don't have a girls class. Well, I think we do now, but we didn't have one when I was growing up. So the only class I had to race was the guys class. So I rode the PWs with the guys, 65s with the guys, 85s. And then when I got into the women's class, my dad and I both decided that, I might as well keep racing with the guys because it made me more aggressive, and it made me, faster. It made I was pushed more and stuff. So I decided to just keep racing with the guys, and to this day I still do. I race in the B class, intermediate. And I really like it. I mean, it's different, especially at age where the testosterone is really high. So when you're a girl and that group of guys, sometimes it's part of the game, and I'm used to it, and it's been this way my whole life, and I kind of like it. It gives me an extra challenge and stuff, so it's fun. And I don't think I'll stop racing the guys class. I've even raced a few national in the Pro-Am class, 250 Pro-Am class. I qualified a few times, and that was something else for sure. I think I qualified 3 or 4 times over the years. But I'll say I'm way more shy as a rider, not shy. I'm more So when I was like 13, 14, my dad would be like, oh, jump this jump. And I'd be like, okay, and just, jump it and not even ask a question. And now like my dad will say like, oh, do this jump. And I'll be like, oh, no, too big. But it's like literally the same jump. Like the finish line at River Glade, I jumped it for years when I was qualifying for the nationals and stuff. And this year I tried to qualify. And my dad was like, you need to jump the finish line to do it. And I was like, oh, it's not happening. It's too big. But I did it like 2 years ago. So it's not helping my case, but it's okay.
That's funny. That's one thing. Obviously, I don't race anymore and stuff like that. But one thing I don't miss is that pressure to do a jump. The whole damn lap, you're coming in like, oh man, here comes the finish line. Here comes the finish line. So much stress.
And I guess especially as I got older, I realized, like everything around it. And I think that's a big difference between the girls and the guys. The guys will just like do a jump, and I'll be like, well, if I do this jump and then this goes bad, and then, like I got to go to school on Monday, I got to go to work on Monday, I don't want to get hurt and stuff. Is it really worth it? The guys will just like do it. They'll just go and jump, and I'll be like, oh, it's really a good idea. And like, I guess that's a big difference between the two.
Well, not all guys, as I just clearly said, I would. Okay, now,
yeah.
What about this too? We always kind of like when Jensen Amiot does our out of the blue women's columns each week and stuff like that, we always kind of ask like if you were a girly girl or a tomboy. I don't want to say that's a sexist question. I don't know if maybe that should be in there, shouldn't be in there, but I always think it's interesting. Like as a girl, do you think I always ask guys questions to see like, can you throw a ball? Like, do you have a, like, you know what I mean? Like, does it help to have maybe more testosterone? Am I even, you know what I'm getting at? You know what I mean? Like, are you a little more of an aggressive kind of person? Can you throw a ball? Like, does that help in motocross, do you think?
Yeah, well, I guess I was always like becoming like an adult and a woman. I'm trying to like embrace my girly side like even more, but she doesn't come out often, like it's like once in a blue moon that she comes out and she's really girly, but it doesn't happen often. But definitely, like, I sometimes, like, I'll do stuff with my friends and they'll be, like, scared and trying. I'm like, oh, no problem, like, you want to go ride scooters, you want to go ride, like, I'll go, like, I don't care. But, like, even then, like, I'm not, like, I'm very, like, self-conscious about, like, not getting hurt and stuff. So, like, I'll go to, like, the pit bike track and I'll see everybody doing stupid stuff and I'm like, why? It's so dangerous. Like, don't do it. Like, like I'll jump like in the air, like super big, but then like I do stuff like I can't climb on the ladder because I'm scared of heights. So it's like, it's really mixed, but I guess I would.
Oh, is that my internet or your internet? Did I lose you?
Oh, hello? Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Is your internet strong? I'm not sure if that was yours or, oh, my internet is weak. Oh, great. At my end. Sorry, I'm not at home. I'm up in Kirkland Lake here. It's not my home base, so hopefully we're okay to record this. But okay, well, who's like rivals and stuff? I also want to say too that you're in a kind of a rare situation where you're so fast and compared to a lot of the competition that you can actually think about things and maybe not do a double jump here or a triple there. Whereas the guys at their top level, it's like, you don't do that, you're going to get crushed. Like, you're in a lucky position where you can actually think about stuff and go, maybe not, and still win. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's like that finish line at Riverglade is the biggest example. Every year I get there and I'm like, I am going to jump it this year. And then I walk the track and I talk to my dad and my friends and I'm like, this year I'm going to jump it. And then I get in practice and then I get like scared and I don't do it. And then I come out and my times prove that I don't need to do it. Like, especially, but like, so I'm like, okay, then like, is it worth it? I asked myself that question, is it worth it? Like, the finish line at Gopher Dunes is the same thing. Like, I'll look at the times and, if I need to make difference, I'll do it. Like, I'll jump it and I'll go. But like, I don't know, I guess, yeah, I get the opportunity to like ask myself that question, and I'm really lucky about it because I know the guys don't. And that's why it was so hard to like try to qualify this year, because like, that was the difference that needed to be made and I couldn't do it. So
right, a tenth of a second here or there puts you from qualifying to not qualifying in the pro at that level, right? So
yeah.
okay, now we know you're obviously you like school. You're a studious person.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Nice balance in that. What kind of like a student were you? Were you a science kid? I mean, knowing what you like in post high school stuff, you seem like you're.
Yeah.
What's
I
what?
was always I was always a science slash math kind of kid. You know, I was really good like in French and in history, but I hated it so much, especially history. Like I always had really good grades, but I could not like it at all. And then I also really like biology, chemistry. So I guess all the like really hard like science classes, those are the classes that I really enjoyed. Even like in college, it's like those were my favorite classes out of all of them, especially biology and science. They're like the big ones that I really enjoyed.
Okay. Now, what about other sports and things like that? Did you do anything else other than moto? What did you do?
So, well, I tried a little bit of everything when I was young. I did gymnastics, karate, and all that sort of stuff. I did dance, and you know, nothing really stuck around. And then the first sport that kind of stuck around is gonna be funny, but it's kinball. You know, the big balls, big black ball. You know that you run around after and
Yeah, I think that might be a Quebec thing. I'm not. Someone else has
yeah,
mentioned that before. Maybe you mentioned it in an interview before, and I'm not sure I know what it is.
yeah, it's definitely a Quebec thing. It's something like we played at my like my school growing up. It was like they'd come during lunch and we'd play kinball. But I played that for almost 7 years while still racing their bikes, so that was like a big sport. And then when I got into high school, I started playing volleyball. So that was the thing that I did for many years too. It cost me a shoulder, but I liked it. But I stopped after, so now I don't really do like any sport like as much as I do motocross, but you know, like when I train, I'll cycle, I'll swim, I'll play tennis, all that sort of stuff. So I kind of mix it up with other sports to like keep me ready for my sport.
Okay. Now I know. Again, when I used to more in a few years back, I would be at all the big amateur nationals in the States and stuff, and you would be at an awful lot of them too. What do you?
Yeah.
Looking back, what were some of your what was your favorite track, your best race kind of thing in some of those big amateur nationals?
I think my favorite track and the one I have the best memory at is Palo Raceway in California. The second year I went there, I got a podium, and it was my first
Fox
WMX
Raceway.
podium. Hmm?
Fox Raceway.
Yeah, yeah. And it was my first podium in WMX, and I was so happy. And it was also those 2 years traveling the United States, doing all the amateur nationals. It was so fun. I was just talking to my dad about it the other day, and you know, it was so fun. We traveled with Marissa Marquelon, Amanda Brown, and all those girls, you know, on the motorhome, and we did the whole United States, and it was like those are my favorite memories. But I think, yeah, that Paula Raceway race where I got my first podium, my friend Amanda was crying for me. She was so happy, and it was really fun. So yeah.
See, there's not as much crying in the guys racing.
No, definitely not. No, there's not as much drama either. You know, it's like black or white. With the girls, there's always a gray area where you have to like be careful.
All right. Well, we're going to get to some of that drama in a minute when we talk about last season because there was a bit of drama. But now, what about like the American? I mean, obviously, you were trying to go with the biggest competition. You chased after that America, the AMA, WMX titles, and stuff like that. But the series now down there, it's not what it used to be. What's do you know anything? And is it something that's coming back? Or
there's actually not a series anymore. So for 2 years now, the only thing they have is they have a race at Florida's, a WMX class at Florida's that you have to qualify for, I believe. But that's the only thing they have. They don't have any like national anymore. They don't have a series. So I guess that's really disappointing. But like I said, it was always sort of a circle. So, you know, there wasn't enough girls. So like sponsors and people didn't want to invest in it. But then since there weren't any sponsors, purse or anything or like coverage, then no girls would come. So it was so it was bound to like get driven to the ground at some point. And it happened 2 years ago, I think. So it's really sad, but you know, there's some people like in Europe, the series is super good in WMX. So I think at some point we can learn from them and from Canada because we obviously do really well, and then maybe like try to start up something again in the States.
right. And I think you were saying too that the numbers were a bit down. Then they tried to get a real serious circuit again. And then that travel schedule they put you guys on. I mean, I remember that year when you guys were traveling around, your dad was trying to work from the road and man,
Yeah.
not easy. They didn't really do you any favors.
No, definitely no. You know, we like in a few months, we like a few weeks even, we'd have to like travel from home to Florida to Texas to California to I forget where the not you know the one that's really high in elevation. I forgot the name.
What?
Oh my god.
Where were you in Colorado? Lakewood? No.
Yeah, Colorado. Yeah, so we'd go from like all around, come back to Colorado, Pennsylvania, and then come back home and all in a few weeks. So it was a lot of traveling, a lot of money, and like especially because the purse money wasn't really all that high, it didn't even cover for the cost that it costed us to travel. So I guess it wasn't worth it, because you had to be 7. So how can you afford all that stuff?
Right. Yeah. No, I remember that season when you guys are doing that. It's like, wow. I mean, kudos, but it was, man, that was a tough schedule. Luckily, Sylvain was
Yeah.
able to work from the road and you could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. It was the best 2 years racing, but like I had to choose at some point, what was worth to me, what I preferred, and it was really draining to do that sort of stuff and be on the road always. So we decided to put our focus on the West Coast instead of racing in the States now. So that's where we're at.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. But hey, did you get new tattoos? You got more tattoos going, or what's going on there?
Oh yeah, I got a few more. Yeah.
Your mom has tattoos.
Yeah, my mom has tattoos, so she can't say no when I say I want one. Well, I'm 20, so she can't say no anyways, but she can't judge. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's.
I usually get them done in the winter, so they're not like in the sand and stuff. So I appear with new tattoos every summer, but it's okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Now,
Guilty pleasure.
well, let's talk about your first Canadian championship. Which one was it? And did they get less exciting, or are they just as exciting, or what was the first one?
The first one was in 2014, and I think the most exciting part about it was that I had only been racing nationals for 2 years, and I was 14 years old. So I think I was like as young as Shelby, but we're the 2 youngest to ever win a national title. So that was really exciting. I was like, I guess, how can I explain? I was in like throughout my championships, each of them has meant something special to me, and each of them has been special in a way. But I guess I was too young to realize like how much it meant and how big it was of a thing when I was 14. So I appreciated it. I was happy about it, but it didn't mean as much to me as winning a championship now is, because I realized how much effort I got to put into it. Especially because like as I get older, then it's harder to stay in shape. I've got more things to focus on. I've got to work and go to school and everything. So I see all the work that goes into it. So it's like when I do win a championship, I'm like, oh my God, I finally did it. Like it's like, yeah, it's bigger in a sense, I guess.
Right. Now that's like if you talk with Colton Fasciotti, who just retired, he said that was the biggest thing. He just got so tired of the training and what it took to get older and be at that level, and it was just like he was just over it. I mean, it's tough to keep that grind, and and as you get people nipping at your heels when you're on top, you got other people chasing you down, and you've got to work.
Yeah, especially there's not a lot of ways to go but down when you're at the top. So it's really like, it's always stressful, always come in the season. I'm like, okay, so who's going to show up this year? Who's going to be there? How fast are they going to be? I always try to be the best and be the fastest I can be. But sometimes, it's hard. And especially, I guess, I'd say that this year is the most difficult to get ready for the season, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen or how it's going to turn out. So it kind of feels like we're, working towards like a invisible goal that we don't, we're not really sure. So I guess that's really difficult. But yeah, like when I was younger, I was in school and I was in sports programs. So I'd do sports all week, like in a fun way. So I was already in shape. I didn't have to like work on top of it and work out. And now to just like be ready for the week, and I have to grind during the week, and then I get there and I'm tired and I'm like, oh my God, like so much work. So yeah.
Right. Well, I want to talk about kind of last season and stuff too in a second here. But when you were growing up, who's your motocross hero?
I think, like I said, I looked up to Heidi a lot. I looked up to Sarah. Oh my God, I forget her name. That it's been a while, but when I was really young. This rider from Quebec, and then I guess I looked at Jolene I'm gonna screw up her name, my
Voot.
dog.
Yeah, Voot.
Also, yeah, also when I was growing up a lot. So yeah, they're all girls I looked up to, but you know, I guess since I went up like so young, I've never really like put myself at looking towards like a model, because you know I was where I wanted to be and where I dream of being. So like you know, like I didn't have a lot of people that I would look up to. You know, I would mostly focus on getting myself there instead.
All right. Yeah, I got some funny old photos. You mentioned that when you're 14 and stuff. I got some pretty funny old photos, but I didn't do my homework well enough. I should have been able to hold my phone up and kind of show the photos. Yeah, it's obviously
Yeah.
good ones you and your dad from back in the day. And say, hey, what do you have a no offense to Sylvain, but his style isn't the greatest. Do you have a style like a riding coach? That's not your dad?
No, that's just my dad. Yeah, just my
Do as he
dad.
says, not as he does?
Oh, what?
Does he say do as I say, not as I do?
Yeah, exactly. Because he was a sketchy writer. He would crash often, break bones. So thankfully, I'm not the same way as he is. But yeah, no, it's always my dad. When I used to train at like Club 57 and those places, I'd have like another riding coach. But since we mostly do our own thing now, it's just always my dad. So it's like living with my coach 24/7. So you know what I eat, when I train, everything is looked at. So there's not a lot of room for like errors and stuff and mishaps, but it's okay. It's part of why I'm here today, and you know why I'm a champion and stuff. It's because my dad was my riding coach and he'd be on my ass all the time. So gotta be thankful for that.
That's funny. I know I'm gonna after this goes public. I know I'm gonna get a text from him. That's for sure when he listens to it. But all in good fun.
Yeah.
All in good fun. But now, what about your love for his love for beer? Did you pick up his love for beer yet?
No, I hate beer. I hate wine. So my mom loves wine. My dad loves beer, and I hate both. But I'll have a girly drink every once and then. That's kind of my thing, I guess. Maybe I'm just not mature enough for wine and beer yet. But I guess we'll see. But it's not something I'm really focused on bringing into my life yet. I'm not there.
No, there's lots of time. The problem is when you're young and of drinking age, you start feeling like you're missing out on things, but you're really not. You've got a long life
Yeah,
ahead of you. So it's
yeah, yeah.
you're not missing anything. Put it that
I
way.
see my
You'll get
parents getting
there.
drunk with their friends and they're almost 50. So my dad is 50 actually. So I see that I have a lot of time to do stupid stuff when I'm drunk.
Yeah, you've got time. You've got time. Now,
Yeah.
what about this? I mean, there are girls like Jordan Jarvis. You've got Taylor Allred, Hannah Hodges. These girls that are trying to get their pro license to race some Supercross down south. Is there any chance you would look south, or are you going to do another season here and maybe head off to school still?
Honestly, I think my time down south is done and over with. The level I'd have to train at to do what these girls are doing is not something I'm looking to. You know, like I'm at the point in my life where I want to start making a career for myself and go to school and stuff. So I'll keep racing, you know, like I don't go to school in the summer, I'll keep racing, but I won't have like the time and dedication needed to do that sort of stuff. So we'll just keep it on the side of the border and keep racing nationals, go on the West Coast as much as we can and stuff. And I'll start being an adult at the same time.
Yeah, don't be an adult too soon. There's lots of time for that too.
No, yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about last year. I mean, you went out, like you said, you skipped the American thing to go out west and do that. Like, talk about that Western thing. You kind of put yourself in there. Now you can actually race for both titles, I guess. But back then,
Yeah.
well, obviously not this year, but last year you went out there just kind of for fun, right?
Yeah. So we decided to go and just, you know, just try it out. And it kind of worked out well that it wasn't for points, because we weren't looking to do it for points for the first year. Because I've heard from every single person that came back from the West the first time that, you know, the first year is always a trial year, because tracks are different, the riders are different. So you've got to get like adjusted to everything. So it worked out well for us that I wasn't racing for points, because I just wanted to go there and get the experience. And then, so I really liked it, but like I said, the tracks are so different. Like I remember showing up to Calgary and being like, oh, what the hell is this? Like I was not ready for this. You know, the last time I'd ridden hardpack was at Riverglade the year before, and even then it's not the same type of dirt or same type of hardpack. So like I wasn't nearly ready for those type of tracks. So it was a lot of adjusting and stuff. And we only did the first 3 rounds, but I think I would have been in the points for the championship if the point hadn't counted. So that would have been fun. But it was fun to race new girls too, you know, change it up a bit with Shelby and Avery, and it was really different. So I enjoyed it for sure. More battles that I don't usually get, so I really liked it.
Yeah, that was fun going into the West round to see, like you just said, the 3 girls you mentioned, you, Shelby Turner, and Avery Berry, who Avery races the like you mentioned, the MXGP women's series and stuff like that. I mean, that's got to be something that's pretty cool. Did you get to know her and talk about that kind of stuff, or you and Shelby must be friends?
Well, I was kind of friends with both, you know, like I talked to Shelby a bunch, especially because I was thinking of doing the ISDE at the beginning of the year last year. So I talked with Shelby a bunch, and I also talked with Avi a bunch because she was from the States and I used to race there and stuff. But I didn't talk to them after the West Coast. I talked to Shelby a bit, but you know, it's like we didn't talk furthermore. But yeah, I'd consider my like kind of friends with both of them, and we're on good terms to have fun racing together and everything. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Now let's get to the East from last year. You and Isabelle Thibault banging bars. I mean, she was out there on the 252 stroke, which I think sounds like if we'd been racing normally here, she's going to switch to the 4-stroke now. But man, was that your toughest season, like mentally and on the track?
Oh, definitely mentally and physically. You know, it was really rough with Isabelle, and it's not that I'm not used to being rough, but you know, I believe in being rough in a safe way, and I didn't believe that was what was happening on the track. So, you know, it was like every time I'd get on the track, I was like kind of scared. It made me like, it took the fun out of it, to be honest. You know, I raced for championships, but I still race for fun. And I was really struggling to find the fun part of it in the last championship. So I guess that was like a big part. You know, like I don't mind being in bars and stuff, but like when it becomes like dangerous, like this sport is already dangerous enough as it is. So like I don't believe in adding to it just for the fun of it.
Now, have you had the nerve to watch that Sand Elise start in slow motion or over again, man? Because a tiny bit different, and that could have been bad. That was a scary one.
Yeah. Well, I've watched it a bunch of times, and I've even made a TikTok about it. But honestly, like for me, I have a different version of it in my head from when it happened. You know, I didn't feel the bike going on my neck and stuff, so like I have a very different version of it than the video. So for me to watch the video, it's just like it's kind of funny. Like how does that even happen? And I just got up and finished the race, you know, because like I wasn't, and I guess the fact that I wasn't hurt or anything, and the bike wasn't broken, and I got up and finished, I guess that takes a lot of like seriousness out of it. But I know my mom still can't watch it to this day. I think she's watched it once and she'll never watch it again.
Yeah, that was a scary one. It's one of those things too. Like, I mean, a crash, you know, people say, "Oh, that person's so strong." It's like, well, you just got so damn lucky. And then it's kind of like that Chad Reed thing where he gets ejected from his bike, and they said, "Oh, he's such an animal for being able." It's like, no, he got lucky. He landed on the downside. Luck plays such a big part, and you got lucky there. Yeah. How close did you guys get in the points at the end?
1 point was all that I was missing. You know, it could have been so many things. And it kind of, the thing that pissed me the most was not that I wasn't able to win, because I proved that I could win. I won 5 races out of the 8 races, and the 3 races that you know, because the first one was a gopher and Isabelle took me out. Flagger took me out, and Isabelle made me crash, and then it's just like a bunch of things. She pushed me off the track, so that was one. But that was a rider that took like literally fell on me, so I fell. So, but you know, I guess it could have been my fault too, because you don't get close to lappers and everything. But anyways, and then the 2 rounds at Sandley just killed me. I did 4 and 8 for like 5th overall, I think. So it was my first time not being on the podium in, I don't know, years. So yeah, that was the big part.
Oh man, I've always and Jeff McConkey too. We always got a kick out of Isabelle Thibault's attitude, like just even interviews and afterwards. Unfortunately, I can't give her a call to do one of these because her English isn't great and my French isn't good. So I don't like to talk about somebody, not give them a chance to obviously talk about it. But I know that I spoke with them and her dad at the track and stuff, and they're like, "Hey man, this is racing." And so anyway, I don't want to say too much about it, and I just obviously you can from your side, but I'm really looking forward to, like, did you ever think when you're out there, like, you know what, if I get the chance, I'm gonna have to clean this girl out. Did that go through your mind too?
Honestly, it went through my mind, but that's just not the kind of rider I am. Like, even if I really wanted to, like, I'll be honest with you, when it came to Deschambault and I knew it was going to be down to 1 point, everybody told me, like, give it back. Like, she gave it to you so many times, just pay back. And, like, it's not, like, I don't want to get down to this level because I don't believe in that stuff. So, you know, like, I'm not going to start doing it myself because then, like, what kind of point am I making, you know? Like, I've always wanted to keep doing it. Even if I lost a championship one time, you better believe I'm going to come back so much better prepared and faster this year, and I'm not going to let it happen twice.
All right. So this year, heading into it, I mean, I'm assuming I haven't spoken to her or heard from really many people about, because obviously with this whole COVID thing going on right now that we don't know, but heading into this one here, is it, I mean, you have to be in better shape than ever? Is that what your kind of mindset is going into this season, if and when it happens?
I think, honestly, I think the biggest part of it is just to not get in my head. Like, it's not, I don't think it was the shape or, you know, the riding that cost me my championship. I think it was in my head because I know I did the same thing the year Kennedy came to Canada. Like, I got so nervous about her being fast and everything that I was like, oh my god, and I just kept making mistakes on mistakes on mistakes on mistakes, and it cost me the championship. And that's exactly what I did this year. You know, I was so nervous about Isabel and how she was riding that I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna make it. Like, you know, like, I got so nervous and I kept making mistakes and mistakes. So I think I just have to come in of doing so and just go with that.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to walk us closer to the Wi-Fi router here. I'm not sure what this is going to look like, but I'm getting right next to the router because I don't like the way this keeps cutting out on us. Oh, let's get the light facing me here somehow. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I had to do something there. I was cutting out a bit. All right. Okay, where are my notes? So what is everything like where you are with the whole coronavirus thing? What are you able to do these days?
I'm going crazy. That's what I'm doing. That's why I came here, because I needed to change the scenery. Working 3 jobs before I was working more than full time before the COVID started, and then I lost, like, 2 of the jobs closed down because there was a gym and there was a car auction place. They both closed. I was cabling, you know, for Wi-Fi and phones in hospitals. So I worked in hospitals for a bit, and that was scary with the COVID going around. We went one time, we had to wear, like, the whole, like, white suits with the mask and the goggles and the gloves and everything. It was really crazy. But then they closed down too eventually because of the COVID. So honestly, I've just been staying at home. Both of my parents are working from home, so they have way too much time for me. And otherwise, I'm just trying to work out as much as I can. I cycle every day. I work out every day. I try to go around. You know, I don't know. I started riding last week. I've started training with the SMX guys at Sunai, so that was really fun to finally get moving and stuff. It's not open to the public yet, but it's open to the team, and I'm part of the team this year. So thankfully, I was able to start riding a bit, get moving, because I only rode like 3 or 4 days over Christmas. So before that, it had been a while. So I needed to kind of start riding a bit to be ready for when the season does start again.
Okay, now, I mean, you're only 20, but it seems like you've been around for so long just because you started so young.
Yeah.
Do you need to take some time off, do you find, just to keep motivated?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, when it comes to like September and stuff and like the Supercross, I'm over it. Like, I am ready for a break. I enjoy my time off in the winter, and it's not that I don't like racing, but I just do so much of it. I ride many times a week. I race every weekend. When it comes to like the end of the season, I'm like, this is enough. Like, I need to do something else or I'm gonna go crazy. And like, even now, like at this beginning of the season, I'm like, I'm riding, but I'm not over riding, because I know that otherwise I'm gonna get like, I'm gonna get sick of it before the end of the season.
Yeah, I think what happens too as you get older, the part, like, again, like I say, I don't race anymore. I miss the racing part. You don't miss the training and after school, boom,
Yeah.
putting in all the time and time and time. But the racing, the gate drops is what I think you miss when you get older and you stop racing.
Yeah, definitely. And it's like, it's everything that comes with it. It's the traveling, it's the training, it's the money, it's everything, like the more you grow up, the more you realize it. You know, before I could like sleep my whole way to Florida and I'd never even notice. But now I'm like, oh my God, 24 hours, like that's so long. So it's just like, it's everything that comes with it that's tiring, because now I have to drive to help. So I love it and I'll keep doing it, but I need my break, and it's like essential. And my dad understands that now. Like when I tell him like I'm done, like I'm like when he asked me at the end of the season, like, oh, do you want to go ride? And I say no, he knows like not to ask again, because it's like, no, it's enough.
Yeah, no, I get it for sure. Again, and like I use Chad Reed as an example all the time, but how he can be as his age and hit that level consistently. It's just, it's impressive when you don't
Yeah.
realize when you're young, but you get older, like, man, how is he still doing this? But yeah,
Yeah.
as you can understand. Okay, now what's about, let's talk about, I mentioned something about med school, because I know that's where you're headed, but now you're telling me you're not going to med school. What's the deal?
Okay, so I'll start off by explaining that what I did in so in Quebec we have CJEB before university, so it's like it's kind of college, we call it college, but it's like not the same thing as university, and you have to do it before you go to university. And so in college I did what qualifies in Quebec as a pre-med program, but it's like you can do anything with that program. You don't have to go to med school, but if you want to go to med school, you have to go through that program. So that's what I did, and my plan was to go to med school. But I realized quick enough that in Quebec nobody gets into med school. Like it's crazy. Like out of all my class last year, my whole graduating class, only one girl got into med school out of like 250 people. So like nobody gets into med school, and I get really good grades. I get like 90s in every class, but like I am a bit off of the last, like of the necessary grade to get into med school. So I guess that people that do get into med school into Quebec are people that are just focused on their studies and stuff mostly, and obviously that's not what I did, because I was focused on it, but I was doing everything at the same time. So it wasn't good enough for how competitive med school is. And, the more I looked into it, I realized that, maybe that's not the life I wanted. I want to have kids, and I want to have time to keep racing and doing all that stuff. And med school, it just takes it to another level. And I don't want to get out of school at like 30 years old, which is what would have happened with med school. So, it's a preference. I don't have anything against it, but I realized that maybe that was in the path for me. So I actually just kind of received the decision this morning, but I got accepted into a occupational therapy program. So it's really similar to physical therapy, but it's kind of different in a way that it's more like freely, and it focuses more on helping people regain their like independence to where like with their injuries and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm starting university in September. And then I'm going to be there for 4.5 years and get out with my master's. And then, yeah.
I knew when you said you weren't going to med school, you were going to say you were either doing occupational or physical therapy. I knew that was what you were going to say. So that's cool. You're still
I'm not too far off. I'm still going to be working in hospitals probably and stuff. I'm still in the health department, but I just like, I just prefer the lifestyle of like occupational therapy than, med school. And I looked into physical therapy too. I was really indecisive between both. But the way it works is like in Quebec, physical therapy in Montreal is high, like the grades are higher than occupational therapy. So if I would have wanted to do physiotherapy, I would have to go to home, so I would have had to move away and stuff, and it gets complicated, racing and the money side of it and everything. So with occupational therapy, I like the job even more than physical therapy to begin with, but also I could stay at home and everything. So yeah, I just got the news this morning. I think that it's not official yet, but I think I got accepted, so I guess we'll see.
Okay, at what university?
I applied to University of Montreal and McGill. So I received the news from University of Montreal this morning. I'm still waiting for the one from McGill, but honestly, I don't know which one I'll choose if I get accepted into both. It's a tough decision, so I don't know yet.
Okay. All right. Hey, well, Ev, let's, well, just another question here too. Obviously, big changes on some of your sponsors in the past and everything going forward. What does your situation look like this year? Who's behind you here?
So obviously we're still with KTM Canada, so that's the biggest one. We also switched gears and everything, and we went with FXR this year. Andy has been a friend of my dad for so long, so you know he's been asking us for years, like, oh, when are you gonna come with FXR and stuff? And you know we couldn't because we had a commitment to motor van. And then everything kind of fell through this winter, and we decided to go through with the FXR. So we're really excited about it. I love the helmets. I love the gear. As far otherwise, we're keeping like most of our same sponsors, FMF and you know Twice Production and FMF, Dunlop, Oakley, and all those guys. You know they're still all the same. But yeah, I guess the biggest one would be the switch with FXR, and you know we couldn't be more excited. I love the gear, I love the clothes and everything. We're still in touch with Motorvan. We might find a deal somewhere down the road or something, but it's just not the main focus anymore.
Okay. All right, Ev. Well, why don't we end it there? Man, I appreciate you taking the time here. Is there anything else you want to mention here? I always give the people in case I've forgotten something or anything else going on that we should know about.
I don't think so. You know, that's pretty much it. There's not much going on in the world right now in general because everything's on pause. So I don't think so. But you know, yeah, it's been nice chatting, and I'm glad we got to catch up and I got to talk a little bit to everyone.
All right. Hey, so just to clarify for Jeremy Mackay, you're single?
Yes. Yes, Jeremy, I'm coming for you.
I hear Melanie laughing in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, she's gonna come say hi.
Okay, let's get her to say hello before we sign off.
Hey, how are you?
She's my mom for the week.
There we go, mom for the week. You're cracking the whip, getting her training?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's gotta be ready.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, guys. Well, let's oh boy. Let's get back to what you're doing. I guess cleaning. That's all anybody does these days.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, but Ev, thank you very much. Say hi to your parents for me. And
all right.
I always feel like
thanks, Billy, for having me.
I always feel like Mark Wahlberg when I say that because he's famous. Hey, say hey to your parents. But I always.
Yeah.
But hey, thank you very much. And hey, I'll
all right,
talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.